Without further ado, we are going to bring on our first guest of the night, Miss Shonda Scott, y'all. Welcome to Party Mode Live, the party before the party.
I heard you're lively too.
Oh, we are. We are. So depending on how lively you want us to be, we can be at a 10 or we can be at 100. You know,
Okay.
we don't do
Whatever
lower than a
works.
10.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
to
I
all of our
mean,
listeners and all of our viewers, let everyone know who you are and what you're about because what I read from you, you are someone that is going to encourage us to change our life. And I want you to kind of dive into that.
oh, they need it.
Well, I'm Shonda Scott. I am a CEO and I'm also a creator of 12 New Things experience and a challenge. And it's on 12newthings.com. And I'm going to encourage you to take control of your own life and destiny by doing one new thing each month. So by the end of the year, you've done 12 new things. And what it does is allows you to take on change in a fun, exciting way so that it's not always filled with anxiety and disruption. You know, most of the time we see change is something that we resist, and it's the only thing that's constant in our life. Like things are going to change. That's just life. But that's the thing we resist the most. So 12 new things is a way to make it fun and exciting. So at least once a month, you're doing something with change that you're controlling, that you're making fun and exciting for you to increase your faith and also to allow you to not have that anxiety on change with everything that changes. So it all started with an article I wrote for business women, and then I'm expanding it to everybody. Like I said, 18 to 80, this applies to everyone. If you want to see change in your world, in your business, in your life, then it starts with you. And if you're self-employed, the first thing in self-employment is self. So what people don't realize that, you know, if things aren't working, then you got to change something in you for you to see that change
Mm-hmm.
around you. And so instead of making it making the challenge challenging, we made it fun too. So that's why 12 new things. And it's one day, one time out of each month, you do something new and different that you've never done before. Or you can do something you've done before, but do it in a whole different way. So it's something new. And that really does challenge you mentally, spiritually, and sometimes physically. Like I just did a swim in the ocean. So it challenged me all on all three fronts to actually do a ocean swim. Challenged me, and I'm a good swimmer, but it challenged me mentally, physically, and spiritually. Because at one, I was having fear and anxiety about actually following through on this commitment, so I had to get over that to complete the swim. And the thing about fear, at the other side of fear is all this, you know, beautiful opportunities and experiences that usually fear blocks us from experiencing.
you know, it seems like
So, uh,
where I'm from. My bad, Justice. Go ahead.
no, you can go.
I was gonna say it seems like where I'm from, just experiencing a getaway.
Yeah.
People be discouraged about something as little as that. They always scared of is the price.
Right.
They not too fond of the travel destination or something like that, and it's always the fear of, oh, I can't afford it, and it just demolish the entire dream just because they think they can't afford it. Now they can't afford it because they already thought it, and it's
Right.
just crazy without even looking into it, without even finding no knowledge about it. They just automatically say they can't go because they can't afford it.
Right. Right.
Men, that is.
And that's the thing about the 12 new things. Like once you commit to it, then you want to follow through on it. But you may be challenged with things like if you decide one of your new things is going to be a trip, you may get challenged with something that causes a block. Like all of a sudden, some bill comes that you didn't expect, and then that's going to challenge you to say, "Am I going to still go on this trip?" It's like all these things may come up
Right.
to cause you to try to block it, but it really is trying to block your blessing. But then that's when you go into the spiritual part too, to make sure that this is what the time and the place for you to do this action. And if it is, things will open up for that opportunity to actually happen.
The,
And you'll
the,
see
the spirit says just put something on it.
that.
That
Right.
bill be there when you get back.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. It's always
yeah,
going to be something.
yeah.
So,
It be there when you get back. Yeah.
right. Right. It seems like something like that come up, it's always going to be a reason not to. And that's part of getting through it, is that these challenges that come up, you have to, then it brings it to your consciousness to know, like, no, all of a sudden I want to go on a trip. Now all of a sudden things are starting to come up that trying to get me not to go. And then when you end up going, you realize on the other side of that fear, oh my goodness, it's like one of the best experience you probably have ever had, because it was someplace you always wanted to go. You and made a way to get there, and things opened up for you to get there. And that's part of the 12 New Things Challenge too. It helps you see how when you change your mind and your mindset and commit to these things, how your world also changes too.
So my question was going to be, because you have some people that feel like taking care of self is just planning, a pampering moment, or once a month or whatever. Can you explain to us how important it is and why it's so important to actually do something new instead of doing something that you always do? Even though it's something for you that you set aside for yourself, how important is it to do something new that you've never done before?
So the importance of doing something new like you've never done before, because the whole point of it being disruptive of your regular cycle that you keep doing all the time. So that's going to keep yielding what you've been doing, having all the time. And if you want to see some kind of change, or if you want to reset or renew or just re-explore or explore, you need to do something completely new, like you've never done before. That part of it makes the disruption of the same old thing happening change. That's where the shift happens, because you are actually stepping out of your comfort zone. So, if you've done something, people say, I've been doing this for all these years and I'm gonna keep doing it. No, that's fine. And it may have worked for all those years, and that's great. But now you're going to take it to another level. So what you're going to do is take yourself out of a comfort zone, and actually doing that is you stepping out on faith, and you stepping out and doing something different is where it's the same concept. It builds your faith. You're stepping out on faith. You're out of what's comfortable for you, so you can see that you will grow mentally and spiritually, because once you do that new experience, you're just like, wow, that opened me up in a different way, or my mind is open, and there's so many lessons learned, and there's so many things that will happen for you on the other side that you can't perceive before. So that the whole newness gives you that shift. So, and you can be something you've done before, but you'll do it in a different way. So if you always do spas and that's your relaxation, then you'll go to the Himalayas and do a spa there. Like that part of it will be new and different, right? So you're still doing something that you like and enjoy, but you're doing it in a whole different way. Like even during the pandemic, there are some things that I had done before, but since we're now in a pandemic, that made this whole process even more relevant to everybody else, because I had started it in 2019. And then when 2020 hit, we all had to shift overnight. So there were activities like yoga they did virtual yoga, and I did this samba funkin' in my own backyard, because we couldn't leave the house for like weeks. So then I had this samba funkin' class. They put it on IG Live, and I was in the backyard doing samba funk, in my own backyard, like something I had never done before. And until I was sitting still for all that time, I wouldn't have thought about it. And I made ice cream in a bag with the Museum of Ice Cream, because they had a virtual ice cream making class. So it was some things I hadn't done that before, but there's some other things like cooking classes I'd done before, but we did it virtually during the pandemic. So the pandemic just brought it all to light, how important it is to be able to pivot and not be always so resistant to change. And so this is like exercising. The 12 New Things is like an exercising of your mind and your ability to adjust and move out of your comfort zone and still, have fun and exciting experiences.
I know some people still stuck in 98.
After the pandemic too? Oh my God. Yeah, well.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
So what was your best experience throughout? You said you started in 2019. So since you began, what would you highly recommend that people do? Like, what's your top 3?
Well, so I give my examples on the 12newthings.com. I just show some of the snippets of what I did. but that's what I wanted to do. Like, so I'm a swimmer. So I
I
like
was
to
say, yeah, I saw the float thing.
right.
I want to do
Well,
that.
well, a float you can do even if you're not a swimmer. That was nice. I saw that, and that's almost therapeutic because it's like you're in this pod, and I saw that
Mhm.
because when Steph Curry was injured, they had showed this commercial, and he was in this pod, and I was like, wow, that looks cool. He was just like floating, and it was part of his healing. And then I found a place when I was at a cafe. I wanted to do a 12 new thing, and I look over, and this reboot float is there, and you're in this big pod, and you're in hot water and all this Epsom salt. And since there's so much Epsom salt, it makes you float. So you're floating in there for an hour, just relaxing, and it's good for your joints and your body. And then it's so euphoric because when you come out, you're just like on a natural high. Like my mind was just like, wow, I was all clear. I said, you almost need somebody to pick you up from there because you're just kind of like, where am I? I'm just like in this other phase. But it was so, and it's like it's almost like they reimagine how the womb experience is for a baby because you're in this pod, it close
Mm.
all the way with you in there. They have this nice music playing, and then you're just floating in this water, and it's just like it takes you in this alpha relaxed state. So you just go into that theta state, I guess, when you're like sleeping and you can kind of meditate,
Yeah.
still awake, and it's the most amazing experience. So that was an hour. You do an hour of the float. So I did that, and I would recommend that because that's the one most people can do, even if you can't swim or not. But I like to travel, so a lot of my experiences are around travel, and I had always wanted to. I ski, so I wanted to ski indoors when I saw they had skiing indoors in Dubai. So that always became something I wanted to do. So that first year I did the 12 new things, and the year I said, oh, it's a lifestyle now. This is not just for me to do a year. This is something we should be doing as our lifestyle every year, doing one new thing each month, doing 12 in a year. So I did the skiing in Dubai, and that was like amazing because it opened my mind to say, the way Dubai is and the way they have this set up is that you could imagine this and do it in any city you're in. Like any city could come up with skiing indoors. Really, it's just almost like they don't have any limitations on what the possibilities are. And I feel like that's how we should approach life. Like there should be no limitations to what we can imagine and then do. And since they
Definitely.
imagine it and then do it, you are motivated to like, hey, what I can imagine, I actually can do. So I went there to ski, but I left there with a whole nother awakening of how life has. There's so many things that you can do, the possibilities of what you create if you just believe it, think it, and have faith to do it and make the
Mm.
step to actually do it.
And some carriage.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, whoever's watching is not 1998. You can get a flight for under $200. You can
Right.
even drive there as long as you fill your tank up. You just got to do it.
You just got to do it. Yeah.
You know what I
Like,
mean?
right. Like my family, we traveled as a family, but we live in California and we had never gone to Yosemite. That's right in our own backyard. We never did the camping in Yosemite. I've been to other parts, but never Yosemite. So one of the new things, someone invited my family friend to go camping at Yosemite. And I'm like, okay, let's go. That's going to be fun. And it was just like, I couldn't even believe that we hadn't driven. It's like 3 or 4 hours away, that close, and hadn't seen just this natural beauty
Yeah.
and greatness that you literally, you could take the gas to get there, would cost you money, but it wasn't an expensive trip. You could go out and camp outside and not even be in a cabin, or you could just go and do a turnaround, but just to see it was just,
Yeah.
every
So
place has that.
let everybody know one more time your website and how they can find you on social media, because I believe this is very important for everybody to get the information, just because some people never know where to start.
Right.
So to be able to go to your website, I believe this is a great start. If y'all have been looking for a way to get into it, Miss Shonda Scott's about to tell y'all right now.
Yeah, it's a great way to start, and it's a great way to stay connected with us because we're going to have like exclusive offers to help people get started on their new thing
Nice.
and give the prizes away where they could, imagine their 12 new thing dream, and we can actually help them fulfill that. And then also, when I finish with the book, they'll have access to that as well. So it's 12newthings.com, and that's where everything 12 new things resides. And I have some videos there now of what I did. And we're working to have an opportunity for people to be able to post theirs and share their stories as well. That's what it's about, like building community in that way, where we're like, I'm sharing as an example, like encouraging you, you could do this or you could do something else. But I also want to hear other stories because people have sent me, followers have sent me, I'm on IG at Shonda Scott 360. They have tagged me and said, you should try this. So somebody tagged me and it was strawberry picking, cherry picking in the Central Valley in California, and you could pick your own fruit and get a ladder and go. And I had never done that. It actually was really fun to be able to pick your own fruit and bring it home and then have all of that to eat naturally. And then I got another follower that's 80 years old, and now she tagged me. She's like, I started playing golf. You know, she had never learned how to play golf. She's 80 years old, out taking golf lessons because that's her 12 new things. So that's why I said, like 18 to 80 and above, you, as long as you have the energy to try something new and different, you could do it at any age.
Once you do it once.
Right. You got to get to 12. You got to do it every month. And it's funny because I said 12 my first year, and I of course end up doing more because then everybody was sending me new things. I was finding new things. Everything was new. And then I had some things I wanted to do. And I'm like, this is the time for me to do it during this time. So I am Shonda Scott, and you are tuned in to Partymode Live, the party before the party.
Yes.